and welcome to the Flourishing Introvert Talks with me, Jo Rawbone. This is the podcast that celebrates the natural gifts of introverts so that we can flourish in all situations. Episode 161, When Introverts Dare to Dream. I've heard from a few clients, past and present, about just how difficult it can be to continue to dream about having a fulfilling career or life. When I explore with them why that is, the reasons they offer up essentially amount to because the knockbacks have come too thick and fast. What I find desperately sad about that is just how early in life some of those knockbacks begin. So this week, I've decided to explore why daring to dream again as an introvert is essential and how we might override our resistance and any knockbacks. As children, we often dream of a world filled with endless possibilities where we can do and be anything we could imagine. It was all within our reach. From a very young age, I dreamed of being a ballet dancer and was obsessed with my classes and my sister's pink tutu. I couldn't wait to grow into it. I was never a slim child, but incredibly lithe and light on my feet. I felt free as I leapt through the air and spun around trying to spot so I wouldn't get dizzy. My poor feet are testament to the challenges of being on point as a young teenager, and even at that age I knew it was a price I had to pay for my dream. Others may envision themselves as superheroes, astronauts, doctors, famous athletes, vets or firefighters. The dreams really are endless, and at that age, we gloriously believe that we can achieve absolutely anything. So what changes? At some point, someone, somewhere, will say in a critical voice, "Who do you think you are?" or "Get your head out of the clouds," or "Stop daydreaming, it's not for the likes of you and me, you know." And that's when our bubble bursts, for the first, but sadly, not for the last time. Those dreams tend to fade and become harder to recall as we age and as they are replaced with more practical and realistic expectations of the future. According to who is my question? Why do we allow aging to rob us of our dreams, to deny us a future that we aspired to live? Now, it's obvious that as we age, we become more aware of the limitations and challenges that come with adulthood. The realities of life then, such as financial responsibilities, social pressures, and the demands of daily life that can absolutely dampen our enthusiasm and our optimism for the future. Remember a few episodes ago, I talked about the negativity bias that all humans are wired with. So many think that that is the norm, and so it is until we decide otherwise. For me, there were several rude awakenings, and the first hit when I encountered what I now know as the extroversion bias. Of course, in my youth, I had no concept of bias or that I was living in a world that struggled to appreciate me for who I really was. It was also about that time that I became aware of the cynics in my life and the perverse pleasure they found in bursting anyone else's bubble. We start to recognise that achieving our dreams requires hard work, sacrifice and perseverance, which can all feel a bit daunting and discouraging. Anything for an easy life was the mantra of one of my significant others, and that rubbed off on me for quite a time. We begin to ask ourselves those questions posed by Marianne Williamson in her Deepest Fears passage. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Playing small serves no one but the narcissist. Hiding your brilliance serves no one but the envious. Denying your talents serves no one. Holding dreams that ignite your imagination and motivation help you to make the most of this thing we call life. None of us know how long we have, and none of us is guaranteed tomorrow. So squander none of it, live it to the full, and keep those dreams as your North Star. Here are some of the reasons why. Firstly, they provide inspiration. Dreams help you visualize what you want to achieve and keep you inspired to reach your goals. By envisioning your future self, you create a roadmap for your life and remain focused on your objectives. However you craft, capture and hold your vision, it has to inspire you to take action regularly and possibly daily. And as you inspire yourself, you will serve as an inspiration to others, whether that was your intention or not. Secondly, dreams provide a sense of purpose. I talk about this a lot, and for me, it doesn't work to just drift and see where life takes me. I'm not criticising those who prefer this route. It's just not for me. Remember me talking about rabbit holes last week? Well, my purpose helps me to decide which to explore in depth and which to just poke my head down. I tend not to ignore any of them for the reasons I stated last week, as I'm in no position to discount them altogether because I don't know what they hold. Dreams provide motivation. They are powerful motivators that push you to work harder and smarter to achieve your goals. To quote Coldplay, "Nobody said it was easy." We need the motivation to keep us moving towards our dreams and desires, even when faced with obstacles and setbacks. The science of motivation is a complex thing, but as Stephen Covey said, motivation is a fire from within. If someone else tries to light that fire under you, chances are it will burn very briefly. If we track back, it's your dreams that provide the spark for that fire. Dreams also encourage and provide creativity. They can spark your creativity and imagination, and it's this creative process that can lead to personal and professional growth. I'm going to throw a couple of quotes in here. Firstly, "What got you here won't get you there," which is the title of a book by Marshall Goldsmith. It's about the behavioural changes that really make the difference. And just for we introverts, a couple of those behavioural changes that he recommends are thinking before you speak and listening well. So guess what? We have a head start there. The second quote is from Maya Angelou, who said, "You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have." Now, that's a compelling reason to get back into the dreaming saddle if ever I heard one. Finally, at least for now, dreaming of a better future, one that lights you up, increases your resilience. Life is unpredictable and setbacks and failures are inevitable. We know the peaks and valleys are part of the flourishing journey as defined by Dr. Lynn Sutz. So we should anticipate and mitigate for them. Knowing why we are doing what we are doing, having that vision for our future, can help us to bounce back from our setbacks more quickly. We can handle setbacks and failures better when we see them as temporary roadblocks rather than permanent failures. This keeps us moving towards our dreams and our desired future. So there are 5 powerful reasons to keep dreaming right there, and you can probably come up with even more. So let's just explore what stops us, what switches off the adult dreaming. I'll start by sharing a few of the things that I know stopped me and what I now do to override the knockbacks. As you're listening to mine, be thinking about yours, and I'd love to hear what stops or stopped you and how you can get past your blocks. I remember all too well being told I was just being silly. Like many introverts, I was sensitive to feedback when I was younger. I'm more resilient, more gutsy, more sassy now, so I care much less. How did I get there? Well, I found a way to love who I was again. This wasn't easy, but I realised that I had somehow colluded with my critics by bowing to their opinions. Opinions are just that. And yes, we're all entitled to our own, including you having a good opinion of yourself. As the Sassy Introvert Society grows, many more of you will be encouraged to get your sass on. And good it will look on you too. I can smile and nod as I hear the comments of the critics without necessarily taking their opinions on wholesale. Not everyone gives feedback to be helpful. Some give it to be deliberately hurtful, and I can recognise the difference now. Worse than being told I was silly was actually being laughed at. Laughed at for my dreams and my aspirations. That would cause me to retreat into my shell and not want to share my dreams. Eventually, I even stopped dreaming, which meant they had won. I became lacklustre and jaded, which wasn't who I was. I probably need to share at this point that I had dreadfully low self-esteem as a teenager, even through into my early 20s. If I saw a group of people laughing, I would automatically assume that they were laughing at me. Chances are they hadn't even noticed me. My lack of self-worth had me become really self-obsessed, and that was not a healthy phase of my life. One way I overcame this was to be able to laugh at myself, to not take myself too seriously, to cherish the fact that my dreams were not shared by all and sundry. I didn't want it to be crowded there. My dreams were special to me, and that made them even more important. I stopped seeking external validation or approval. My dreams were mine, and I really didn't mind what others thought of them. Lastly, I stopped believing in myself. This was tragic and had me play too small for too long. It didn't matter how many people told me that the work I was doing was having a necessary impact, or that the work we'd done together had changed their life. I just couldn't accept it. If I couldn't believe in me, how were others supposed to? How on earth did I get that self-belief back? The truth is, through a lot of hard work, and that work continues today. I have affirmations that reinforce what I'm here to do. I have a file of powerful feedback that I've received that I spend a few moments looking at when the doubt starts to creep back. And of course, I know my inner critic so well now that I can often predict her tactics and head her off at the pass. And that's made so much easier with the help of my inner advocate and my inner rebel. I'm not delusional though. I don't think I'm omnipotent, and I know there may be another knockback just around the corner. But I'm ready. I believe in me, and I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? Do let me know. Now, no matter what knockbacks have burst your bubble, the place to move to now is to think about strategies you could deploy in order to awaken the dreamer in you. For me, this involves a couple of different techniques. The first is putting aside time where I can be quiet in order to get creative, and maybe start with some creative play or a guided meditation to nudge my curiosity. Ideally, I need to be able to get into my flow state so that I can become fully immersed in that creative process. The second strategy I have is to mull things over with a group of trusted accountability buddies. They act as a much-needed sounding board and ask such brilliant questions that inevitably move my thinking further on. What they don't do is criticise or laugh at me, even when my ideas are a bit left field, and I love them for that. And of course, whilst creating your future may start with dreaming, it doesn't end there, or at least it shouldn't do. Your dreaming needs to motivate you into inspired and aligned action if you're to reach your desired destination. So, dream, plan, action. If you enjoyed this episode as much as I did, then please subscribe, rate us and leave a comment, because we know that helps other people find the podcast. And if other people find us, other introverts can flourish.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.